So recently we talked about Swifties for Trump, about all 12 of them.
Nice.
But on the other hand, they have launched a new movement, Swifties for Kamala. It's a coalition of diehard Taylor Swift fans who have mobilized into action to get Kamala Harris into office. They just launched their organization only over a month ago, merely hours after Biden dropped out of the race, by the way. And yesterday, they had their own virtual rally on Zoom that was even worse than White Women for Kamala. It was even more cringy than that, including appearances from Carole King, Elizabeth Warren, Ed Markey, and more. They have raised over $100,000 for the Harris Walls campaign so far. And then Cosmo put out an article about them.
It's almost like it's all planned.
Yeah, they've gotten features in Vanity Fair, The Cut, now Cosmopolitan. Swifties for Kamala is mobilizing Taylor Swift fans, even if Taylor herself isn't. They made it very clear that Swifties for Kamala is totally indifferent to whether or not Taylor Swift endorses Kamala Harris for president. They're just there to mobilize the fandom and get them politically involved. And they interviewed the co-founders and team leads. The way that this has been put together with such high production value and graphic design and web design so quickly, it definitely seems like it was orchestrated and funded by the DNC, but we have no evidence for that.
So this is their website here.
Yeah, so they have an About Us section on their website, which is extremely professional. Our mission: we are a coalition of Taylor Swift fans committed to protecting the United States of America's historical democracy by working together to help progressive candidates in local and national elections, including VP Kamala Harris, for our country's next president.
Personally, I find nothing more progressive than locking a bunch of people up and using them for prison labor. I find that to be hyper progressive.
And they also posted their own policy platform. Swifties for Harris is committed to protecting our democracy. As Swifties, many of us share core values and believe Kamala Harris will protect these values as president. We want a future where everyone is safe and respected. Don't say you're too tired to fight. It's just a matter of time. We believe Harris has the experience, integrity, wit, and stamina to beat Donald Trump and progress the United States into a more flourishing and inclusive future. A future where all people are treated with dignity and respect, reproductive freedom and choice are available in every state, the rights of LGBTQIA+ individuals are protected, immigrants are welcome, climate change is taken seriously, common sense gun laws are prioritized, a permanent ceasefire between Israel and Hamas is achieved, and bigotry is not tolerated. That's their official policy platform
It's a whole lot
for
of
Swifties for
words.
Kamala.
Literally
Say
just a
nothing.
bunch of Marxist communist bullshit.
Yeah.
It's all virtue said. There's so many things I want to say.
The voices behind the viral Swifties for Kamala social media accounts tell Cosmo about their dreams for a Swiftie blue wave.
Can I just ask a question? Like, one thing that's pretty consistent amongst hyper-progressive Marxist and communists is they despise private wealth and ownership. How do they reconcile that with their name being attached to one of the most successful corporate-backed celebrities of all time?
A literal billionaire with a private jet. I don't think Taylor Swift takes climate change very seriously.
No, but they believe that. They believe that she does.
Yeah.
Because these people they're just not smart. They do whatever, they believe whatever the last thing they heard is. They do no research. They don't dig into anything. They accept everything at face value. Like,
their votes are just as valuable as yours.
It's so dumb because it's like, okay, Kamala still doesn't have policies, so the Swifties made it up for her. Like,
right. Yes.
There's so many parts of this.
They came up with their own.
They didn't even pretend like they didn't say no tax on tips. They just came up with platitudes. And that's really what you understand the most is, like, anytime you read something to me that we're covering and they just say a bunch of bullshit without actually saying anything, that upsets me more than anything. I'm like, sending people to college has done irreparable damage to this country because you can articulate meaningless slop in a way that sounds like it actually says something when it doesn't at all. Everything they just listed there was a bunch of meaningless platitudes that have no actual policy
It's about friendship
attached to
and
it.
rainbows and cupcakes. And for context, guys, this was co-founded. Swifties for Kamala was co-founded by a 22-year-old Texan Swiftie
Of course it was.
who identifies as a trans man, meaning this is a biological female who identifies as male, as well as a 29-year-old who now is their communications director. And they interviewed both of them for this piece. Irene Kim, the 29-year-old, said, "I would love to see our first woman president, you know? And not only that, a woman of color. It's crazy to think that we haven't done that yet. As an Asian American woman with immigrant parents, that's something that's really exciting for me to see. During the Trump administration, there was so much racism and hatred. I want a president who actively fights against that. Kamala makes me really excited because I feel like she stands for a lot of the same things I do and will actually protect the rights and freedoms of not only someone like me, but the people I care about and a lot of marginalized communities that have been under attack."
That whole sentence that she just spewed is just
It's nothing.
identity politics.
It's identity politics. It has nothing to do with policy. It has nothing to do with actual change in the country.
This is
We love the 19th Amendment here, don't we, folks?
If you went through each of those points, that not that there, but their initial,
they're not qualifying.
their
for
initial points, right? And you just asked, what does that mean legislatively? What does that mean in
They
policy?
don't know what legislate means.
What does that mean? How will you enact that? Executive orders? Does that mean that you're going to have the House and the Senate? You know, what does that mean?
They don't have answers. They just have feelings.
This
Okay.
is neo-Maoism. That's what this is. Because they do, just like Mao used the college students for the Red Guard.
Yeah.
This is what they're doing. She knows there's like the actual rational voter, right? The person that actually thinks critically. Kamala doesn't stand a chance with that person. So they have to go and find the young people that are dumb and that they can they don't have to brainwash them because their thinking skills have not developed yet.
Yeah.
They don't know, they don't teach how to critically think in school. And it's something that a lot of people don't develop.
Yeah.
So this was all started by 22-year-old Emerald Medrano, a Latinx trans man who says that he started Swifties for Kamala only like an hour after Biden dropped out of the race. Emerald said, "Harris is very intelligent and a powerful woman, a trailblazer.
None of that
The way
says
she has
anything.
opened doors and also takes care of people who come after her through that door reminds me in a lot of ways how Taylor cares about people in the music industry. I really love that connection between them."
Okay, first of all, I'm going to press X to doubt and ask you for an example of anything you just said in relation
She
to...
actually sabotages other artists.
No, I was saying... I was going to get to that. Say, first, I want you to tell me what that door shit even means in relation to Kamala. Like, what does that mean? And then secondly, how does that compare to Taylor, who's knowingly disliked by many people for keeping them out of top tens and reaching #1 on Billboard by re-releasing albums so that she can dominate the top spot? She's as capitalist as anyone in any industry, and all it is a bunch of weird mentally ill fan fiction that's been built up in their brains that they just then superimpose on other people.
The rise of social media, and the Democrats specifically have learned this a few elections ago, that they used to say, don't listen to what someone says, watch what he does. It's completely inverted now. They don't care about what you do and how much you've donated and this. They just care about the last thing that came out of your mouth. That's
honestly
posturing.
honestly really true. Like, one of the things that annoys me is like whenever something comes up, I'm like, everyone's going to forget this in like 10 minutes anyways. It won't matter. It will not matter. Nobody's going to care. Nobody's going to look at their record. They're just going to insert the new chip into their brain and say, this is what they said. That makes me feel good. I think I'll vote for them. She's talking about building the wall.
The 22-year-old co-founder said, "I feel like I've always been politically involved. As a Latinx person and a trans person and a queer person, I've always had to care. And living in Texas, the stakes are a lot higher for me because if things go wrong in this election, I might have to move.
Jesus.
Because Texans are all bigots. Everyone in Texas is a hateful bigot who's going to hate crime you if Trump wins.
It proves that you have no understanding of what's actually going on politically because your local politics will play a far greater role in your day-to-day life than anything that's pushed through
And
federally.
they won't be able to name their mayor. They won't be able to name their congressman.
Regarding the connection between the Swiftie fandom and the Kamala campaign, Emerald said, "We have our own little culture. One of our goals is that we really want to make this a Swiftie safe space where people feel comfortable to be active in politics. We combine voter registration information with like friendship bracelets. We're bringing things from our fandom culture into the political space, which is a really cool way to help people open up and participate." Another team lead said, "I was telling my husband this morning that being involved in Swifties for Kamala has been so good for my mental health."
Poor guy.
Your marriage is cooked.
Dude,
If you're listening, guy who is married to one of the team leads on Swifties for Kamala, your marriage is over.
I would be very interested in I can't remember the name of their podcast, but Natasha Biazzi. She's Canadian, but she's a huge Swiftie, but she does like a more conservative leaning podcast. I'd love to hear her thoughts about this.
I
And,
haven't
like,
heard of
this-
her. Maybe I'll look into it.
Yeah, she was on the Culture War a couple months ago. She's cool. She'd probably be good for this show, but I digress. These are very selfish voters, right? Like they're not. It's not about voting.
That's
for
why
Kamala.
they say our democracy.
It's not.
They literally don't mean yours.
They don't think that Kamala's the best person for this job. They're all talking about how does voting for this candidate reflect upon me. That's what it is. That's all it is. It's like, listen, that's why it's all like the first things out of their mouth is all like identifiers. I'm trans.
They understand
I'm queer,
identity politics, and they
I'm a person of
understand how to
color.
use identity politics as a cudgel, as a weapon.
And they're like, because I stand for all these great causes, right? Kamala Harris is just another little badge on my like Boy Scouts.
And right
it's the
now-
latest badge that you get.
Right now, women are significantly more involved in the political process than men at a young age. Like men are checked out of politics. Women are they're building coalitions, they're forming groups, and they're building their own political safe spaces that are going to send, all of the men in their lives to war someday, so that, because they don't like the guy who runs Russia, and because they think there should be a ceasefire in Gaza.
So I'm about to show you guys a snippet from the Swifties for Kamala virtual rally that was exponentially more cringy
I
than
was just
White
gonna
Women for
say,
Kamala.
Are we still doing the cringe?
Yeah, this is it. Carole King performs a surprise song for Swifties for Kamala's kickoff call.
Okay, here we go.
Taylor inducted me into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, and she sang my song, Will You Love Me Tomorrow? So I have to go. Players gonna play, 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 play. Haters gonna hate, 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 hate. Baby, I'm just gonna shake, 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 shake. I shake it off, I shake it off.
End my suffering.
That doesn't even bother me that much. It's the responses. That's what I knew. That's
Thank
what
you
it
for
would be.
that.
So, okay. See, if Trump got on a call and did this, it would be hilarious. It would be so funny. But instead of like laughing at the ridiculous nature of this, they're like, oh, yes, queen. Like, thank you. for
Shiver
that
me
performance."
timbers. Shiver me timbers. That was absolutely spine-chillingly cringe.
Have you guys followed the Brittany Mahomes stuff that's been going on?
Yeah, we talked about it on Monday.
So don't forget who.
I'm okay.
You
Don't
good?
forget
You good?
what did the NFL do all last season, right? For the Chiefs games, they had a camera on Taylor Swift. Whose box was she in?
Yep.
Whose
She's
VIP
friends with
box?
Brittany Mahomes,
It was Brittany
theoretically.
Mahomes' box. So like and this is why I don't think Taylor Swift is going to actually come out and endorse any candidate. I think she's just going to avoid it completely because all of her professional friends are supporting Trump, but her fan base that's making all her money are, going Kamala.
Well, they say
So-
they don't care
You
whether
never go
Taylor.
full Kamala.
Yeah, the Swifties for Kamala claim that they don't care whether Taylor Swift endorses Kamala.
Exactly.
They just want to mobilize the fandom in Kamala's favor. But this one person in the interview said, "I'd like to think that we're not doing this for Taylor. We're doing this for our country." Very noble.
Thanks for watching. Listen to full episodes of Pop Culture Crisis on Spotify.
Keep up with us on social media and make sure you subscribe and ring that bell so you never miss the show. Bye, guys.